Hello, welcome to Jason Cavness Experience. I'm your host, Jason Cavness. I'm also the CEO founder of Cavness HR. At Cavness HR, we provide HR to companies with 400 or fewer people by providing a tech platform that automates HR while providing access to a dedicated HR business partner. And I want to welcome you to the Jason Cavness Experience Ho Chi Minh City edition. For the next few months, we are doing the podcast live and in person from Earth VC's headquarters in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. Earth VC is on a mission to unfuck the Earth. They're doing this by supporting breakthrough scientific research, empowering outlier founders to build enduring climate businesses, and they're investing in high-growth startups that decarbonize the world. Earth VC empowers founders who are ambitious, breakthrough, and committed. Earth VC is currently invested in the pre-seeded Series A round. If you think you might be a match, reach out to them at rebuildatearth.vc. Our guest today for our first edition is Van. Van, thanks for being here today.
Hi, man. Thank you for inviting me. I'm looking forward to this.
So first question.
All right.
So you're a big college football fan, right?
And the what?
Big college football fan?
Yes, I am. I actually went to school in undergrad at Oklahoma State and then OU. So, but I got my master from University of Texas at Austin.
So the question is, Oklahoma State versus University of Texas, who are you going for?
Oh my gosh.
What team are you putting money down on?
Well, honestly, right, I spent more times under my undergrad in Stillwater. So always root for Cowboy. Even that every time I go to the stadium, I always, a big Cowboy fan. Yes.
So Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma State. And but now they separate the conference, so it's good. Now I don't have to be debating myself. That's the good thing.
Yeah. Did you attend any college football games?
Did what?
Did you ever attend any of them?
Yeah, multiple.
Yeah.
Every time have a game I call in Austin. Every time
The same at Stillwater?
Yes.
Which one has a better atmosphere?
Jesus, man, this guy. All right. I hope my wife don't hear this because she went to school in Stillwater as well. So she's a big Cowboy fan. I would say I prefer Cowboy fan because for me it's very small school.
Yeah.
It's the community based type. So you win, you lose, you still a Cowboy fan, right? With Texas fan is a little bit different. Maybe you never go to school there. Maybe you just part of the community, right? So very different dynamic, right? Short answer, yes, I'm a Cowboy fan more than a Longhorn fan.
But you were born and raised here in Vietnam, right?
Yes, I'm born here. Yes.
Okay. How old were you went to the States?
In college, so like 20
years old.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So what made you decide to go to Oklahoma State of all the universities? Why the most countryest, redneckness school in Oklahoma, right?
All right. For the audience that don't know how Stillwater and Oklahoma look like, right? It's basically if you watch the movie Twister, you probably have a good idea about Oklahoma, right? Very flat area. Why I choose Oklahoma? I got the scholarship part of it, right? I got paid scholarship, but I have an option to go to Houston as well. But my brother live in Houston back then, right? So I'm saying, well, I want to live with my brother or should I do something myself? So I choose to go to Oklahoma. Part of it is, well, independent guy, right? Do something myself. Yeah.
So was it talk about the culture shock? Had to be a culture shock going from Vietnam to Stillwater, Oklahoma. Can you talk about that?
Okay. Well, you from Vietnam in the early 2000 something. Is the country is not like Vietnam right now, right? It's still a developing country. You go to America, not many people go to America under a scholarship back then, but it basically it's a culture shock because Ho Chi Minh City is still a metro city. You have a lot of more population here. Oklahoma, Stillwater, a very small town, rural area, right? And then, but I think that wasn't a shock because you don't have a lot of Vietnamese food. You had to take 2-hour drive to go to the city to go to the Asian market to get some Vietnamese food. You take 1 or 2 trips maybe in a month, right? So you don't have a lot of exposure. But for me, the best experience actually during that period, because I have more opportunity to understand more about America, like the Midwest, right? I think I go to Houston will be very different because they have a big Vietnamese population there. I'm okay. But during that period actually changed my perception about America, about myself. I have more time to focus on myself and build up the community, the Vietnamese student back then. I think that whole experience a little bit shocked, but it's not bad way, right? In my opinion, it's not bad way. It's very good. More focus. I love it. I love very looking back, it's the best experience, the best choice that I made when I go Oklahoma instead of Houston.
Yeah, and I could be wrong. Doesn't Houston have the highest population of Vietnamese people in the United States?
Yeah, huge. Vietnamese right after the war have a lot of people moving to US, right? And most people will live in California or but people don't know that Houston actually the second biggest city that have most Vietnamese. A lot of Vietnamese go Houston as well. So um but when you oversee, especially when you immigrant, a student, you want to learn about the culture. You want to open yourself and be connected with other people. And for me, right, if you've been in Stillwater, you will notice it's a small college town, and you see a lot, not many Asian there, right? You see a lot more Caucasian people, but very nice. I mean, like people, they're very nice. I still remember I go to Walmart, the only thing that in the city, in the Stillwater, in the town, and people still smile each other and still waving hand. I love it, right? You don't have that in the big city.
No,
Yeah.
you don't. So next, I think I found this on LinkedIn. It's something called Head of Electronic Initiatives Committee.
Oh, yeah.
What is that about?
Well, so that's basically okay, so there are a few things going on there, right? So that's one is more like a volunteer work that I did during my work at my company, National Oil. So in my early day of my career, I only try to take initiative to do something and only try to use my strength to do something. So that's one is more supporting the community fundraising event. I'm in charge of the more like a computer website thing. Yeah.
And then next, so one of your first jobs, you worked at something called National Oil World Vorco. Is that like an oil world company, or like, so you have experience like working the oil, not oil field, but like working for oil company.
Yeah. So right after college, they come to the campus and recruit. And basically, I was in a part of their they call next generation leadership programs.
So you did business development for them, marketing. Yes.
So these are rotational programs. So every 3 months you rotate different things.
Okay.
So I stopped doing marketing. I do computer related because my background is double major in marketing and computer software. So I do a bunch of marketing, a bunch of IT related work. But after that one, they draft me at the full time, right? And that basically doing a marketing, but I do more technical marketing. So my career path will only be go from the guy that in between business and technology. I'm always be the guy right in the middle, understand both sides, right? So my whole career track is start more technical, go into more marketing related. So do a bunch of event in the past, travel quite a lot as well, and then go into more business strategy. And I got my master from UT, and I go into the whole career about strategy planning, entrepreneur, product development, right? Yeah, that's whole track, right?
So what did you learn from marketing in that job that's helping you with marketing at your startup right now?
The interesting thing, right? That's what I love about my work at the National Oil Varco, because they are a big company, right? They're multinational. They actually used to be in the Fortune 200. So they want a top performance in stock exchange, right? And what they do is basically they are manufacturing company for any oil field equipment. So they do anything from oil rig to drill bit to software to hardware, so anything, right? So if you're in Houston, you probably see their office somewhere in the Beltway area, very, very big, right? But what I learned during that period, the actually how the company have a structured way of growing people, right? Because in oil field, they have a challenge of recruiting people, like develop the next generation of leadership, and the way they structure that. And I think that transfer to what I'm doing now. It try to helping the next generation of people of how to be more efficient of grow their career, right? And that's basically based on that previous life experience. Um, just not marketing. It's just HR. It's the thing about product development. It's about everything, not just marketing. And that's what I try to do for the next generation as well. Try to give them the opportunity to rotate inside my company, or even help other company to design certain rotational programs for them to helping grow the teams.
And how long were you at that company for?
I think I left the company roughly about what 12 years, something like that.
So
So
you were there for 12 years?
yeah, so that's why I'm a company man. That's why I feel like a lot of people nowadays they don't do that long career track anymore.
Yeah,
But
those days are long gone, especially in the
long
States.
run.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I feel like, but the interesting part about it is when you work for a big company enough, that they do have certain career track. So I consider myself in the like a high potential.
Yeah.
So that's why every 3 years I have a tendency to go to a promotion.
Yeah.
Right. So but you have to plan ahead. So even that long period, I do a lot of things. I do from marketing uh to business strategy, to involve a bit of M&A, do a product development, sales and operation. I do basically everything, right?
Yeah.
So it's quite.
I just it's funny like nowadays when companies complain about people leaving after 1 2 years, like don't forget you laid off half your workforce 2 years ago.
Correct.
Don't forget you got rid of everybody's pension plans half 2 years ago. Like it works both ways, I think. So don't be surprised when your people like roll out for a better job.
Yeah. And I feel like nowadays I think it's the employee, because we work in HR field, right? So I feel like it's both sides. It's the employer and employees. It's own way the market driving it both sides, right? I think in the past, people have a tendency to stick longer because they have that's the way that they can have a more sustainable lifestyle and take care of their family when the insurance 401k all this stuff more stable.
Security stuff. Yeah.
Correct. And nowadays I think that alternative option is on the table, right? A lot more younger generation, they can make money by doing YouTube, like TikTok, do a lot of things differently.
Have 2 3 4 jobs.
Correct. And they not do a traditional one job anymore.
No.
They do like a 2 3 hustle, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like that become the normal. So you basically see a different way of people do their career path.
Yeah, very different.
Very different. So from the employer standpoint, right, I feel like we need to adapt to the new way of people work as well, right? You want to make sure that people come to the office, accomplish what they're supposed to do, and and then what they do outside, none of my business, right? But can company be flexible enough and discipline people enough that people come to the office, be efficient? I think that is the question. Yeah.
So Amazon's like everyone go back to work to the office like 5 days a week, right? What's your take on that?
5 days a week.
Amazon's like everyone go to the office 5 days a week.
Okay.
No more remote work. You have to be in the office 5 days a week.
I think this is happening as well, right? After COVID, people work from home hybrid, right? And a lot of my friends actually in Houston, but they work for a company in California or New York because the cost of living is much more affordable, right? But what I'm noticed is they're still efficient at their work. In my opinion, remote working or hybrid working only work for certain company and certain people, right? People should treat it more like an option, not a requirement. If you can, this is what I try to do at my company as well. If certain employees can actually reach certain performance consistently, then you have option to work from home. But if you don't, you cannot discipline yourself, you fall back, then you have to come to the office. I feel like that should be earned, not given, right? the whole concept, not just Amazon, right? I think any company do it that way. I heard that a lot more company pull people back to the office. And I think the argument there is they want to make sure that people are disciplined and focus at work. But I think the other side of it is a lot of company invest too much money into their building, to their facility that they need to get pay return, right? So I think they're both ways. Look at it, yeah.
Yeah, another thing too. So I don't think this is a company's responsibility or employee responsibility, but like suppose you're downtown Seattle and Amazon, right? Amazon, everyone's remote. All the businesses are suffering, right? So obviously the business is downtown when Amazon will be there, right? And plus too, like I'm a believer in remote work, but I can't work from home, right? I don't have no discipline, right? I just don't. I know that by myself, right? But then again, like remote work, is that really the best thing for someone's a new employee or like a someone out of college? I don't know if remote work's the best thing for those people, you know?
In my opinion, right? If you're in Vietnam a couple of days already, you notice that we have so many coffee shops, right? That's very good place and good Wi-Fi to work. It's giving. So definitely the student, the younger people get used to that lifestyle, right? Go to the coffee shop and work. I do that once a while as well. But I think that you go to the office, it's more for meeting for like, because if everyone that works separately, then you don't have a company. You have to have a bunch freelancer, right? People that work on and off. It's not the company.
Yeah, I definitely think it's what companies messed up on. They say, hey, like come to work 2 days a week, right? It should be like you said, everyone there like Monday or Tuesday, because it does no good like do like network like brainstorming. Everyone's are differently, right?
Yeah, man. So in my opinion, I still call me old way, but I prefer people to go to the office. I am my staff know I'm not the kind of 9 to 5 type of guy. I don't clock in, clock out people. But when people that not consistent on their performance, then I'm kind of asking, right? But for me, like I said, the younger generation, they have a tendency to prefer work from home, work in their own environment. But in my opinion, if you don't transfer from work and entertainment, then you don't have balance.
Yeah.
Because I think that the plus that a lot of people are helping right now is they feel so frustrated when they go home because they're still on their phone checking work, right? But what happened during work times? You don't even work. You actually go coffee shop, right?
Yeah. Or you're like, you're working from home, but you went to grocery shop from 1 to 4, and at 5 you stop at all. Like, dude, you spent 3 hours like shopping, right? I want those 3 hours back from 5 to 8.
Yeah, that's crazy, right? And then people, I feel like from look on both sides, right? I feel like it's not fair from employer. I pay you 8 hours and I want to be full focused on that 8 hours. But most of the time people don't do that, right? They don't really work 8 hours. You like you said, checking on, shopping.
I know during COVID, there's all these stats and stuff I was saying that work productivity like increased from people working at home. My question always been like, where do these stats come from, right? Like I've never seen like the stats came from, the Department of Labor. People like quote stats like increased productivity, but let me see. I want to see the actual stats, right? I've never seen the actual stats.
Yeah. And I think this come down to even I consider myself a more data guy. I love like look at data and stuff, right? But I think in my opinion, that specific thing is you can treat the data either way. Your sample is it big enough, right? And then on top of it, you have the kind of interfere of the COVID. It force you to do it that way, right? Now we're back to normal, right? I think should we be a little bit more conscious about work-life balance? Yes. But should we go all the way into become more like, well, work is not work. Living not living. I feel like we go to extreme on that end after COVID. So honestly with you, I think that it needs to be balanced. But each people, each industry, each company have their own way of doing it. And in my opinion is figure out what works best for you. And as smarter, what we do is we try to helping people. We actually working on technology and try to move in company to that direction is that I truly believe that for people to be freedom at work, right? It means that you choose what you do and be best at it. You have to be some sort of work on what you're most interested in, right? So and what you're good at, right? So you have a passion for what you do, but you also have a skill required to achieve your goal. And what you do, the output, the outcome of what you do have to be aligned with the business. That's basic three things, right? So because like, let's say I'm going to the coffee shop at work, or I'm stay at home at work, it's fine. But I'm actually working on the right task. I'm actually on the task that I'm good at compared to other peers, right? And is it something that when I work, I'm actually create the best outcome, right? So that's what Smarter aim for. That's what my company aim for. We try to change the way of people work by using technology to do that. Yeah.
So what if someone has a passion for something, but they suck at it?
You're passionate about something, you better suck at it. You should not do it.
Well, you're passionate about it.
Yeah, you're passionate about it, but if you're passionate about something enough, will you spend enough time to learn and get up your skill, right? Because let's say, right, I'm love basketball. I'm a very short guy, right? But I still play. But I'm to my competition. I don't play with you. You're too tall for me, right? But to your competition and to your field that you be good at, I feel like important as well. But I love basketball.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do too. So after you left the oil company, you moved back to Vietnam.
Okay, no, I'm not quit the company though. I'm actually they give me 1 year rotation. So I'm supposed to be in Singapore, Norway, or Vietnam, then come back. I choose Vietnam because part of it is just actually it's not supposed to be Vietnam, it's supposed to be Singapore, but I chose Vietnam for 1 year, right? You think, well, 1 year vacation, see my family, I still have my parents here. So I'm like, well, I thought it 1 year. I think it ended up like 8 years now. So that's the common story when you heard a lot of people go to Vietnam. It's only 1 year project become a longer times. So I returned to Vietnam and originally just do a little bit market research to get understand the region. But then people here want me to stay, and I'm end up stay here and manage the region office. So I've been managed the Singaporean team, the Malaysian, some people around this country region. But 2.5 years ago, I quit because I feel like I need a little bit of change. I need to pursue my passion. I'm very passionate about how people learn and how people grow and perform. Even in my early career, I only try to coaching and mentor people if I can. And yeah, that's my passion.
So what's something about Vietnam that you wish more people knew about?
It's silent country. If you look on from all statistic number, from the investment standpoint, it's a fast growth country, consistently GDP grow like 6-7% annually, right? So all we're exciting from the outside in, especially right now when you talk about the potential that tariff in China, that a lot of business start moving to Vietnam because the logistic is very close to China, so they can move the manufacturing shop into Vietnam. A lot of exciting stuff. FDI investment pool into Vietnam, a lot of money here. Young population, eager to learn, eager to spend, right? High penetration of phone. So you have all the good thing on paper is in Vietnam, right? If you want to grow a startup or build a tech team, Vietnam actually very good. The cost still reasonable, and the team here, that engineer here, actually very smart. They very smart. They very efficient. You need to manage them though. So yes, so that's what I would recommend people to think. If you want to choose a entry market into South Asia, Vietnam actually a good place. I noticed a lot of Japanese company, a lot of Korean company, or Singaporean company that move their office to Vietnam teams to fundraising to enter the market and build the product. So yeah, that's what Vietnam good for.
So I was here for 10 days in September. I mean, it's November 12th. It's just the energy, the vibe. You just sense a hustle, right? Like stuff's getting done, right?
Yeah.
Has it always been like that here? Or is that something recent that's happening?
Its own way, right? And this is the example that I telling people, and we talked a bit earlier as well. You walk around Vietnam street, you see a bunch of coffee shop, right? It's so many. Like you walk like what 500 meter, right? You got like 10 different like store, like student like selling coffee shop, right? I feel like the energy is always there, right? I think, and I make a joke about it, but I think part of it is the coffee and the bánh mì, right? The baguette, right? That always fast eating and drinking coffee. That's why we always have that energy. Um, it's always that way. Very hustle type of people, problem solving. Um, so yeah, high energy. You can tell I'm a lot of
Yeah.
energy.
Yeah. For those of you who have never heard of Vietnamese coffee, you don't know you're missing. It's the best. It's the best thing ever. It's so good.
But they're dangerous, dangerous. Yeah.
So talk some, if you can, about the pros and cons of doing business here.
Pro and cons do business.
Yeah.
Depends on what size your company, right? If you're a multinational company, you can have good tax break in certain area. Especially right now, the country they have a big push for semiconductor. So for all of my friend in Austin, Vietnam can be a potential for semiconductor. Because they start moving the cost of manufacturing in China, it become more expensive. If we talk about tariff on top of it, it's going to be more expensive. So people start thinking about moving to Vietnam right now, right? In Vietnam already have Intel, have a few big semiconductor in Vietnam already. And I think that's for multinational company, definitely potential. But because I used to work in multinational, so I have to be more fact about it. It's certain area that you have to looking for in terms of do we have enough talents, people to support the industry, right? Do we have enough ecosystem to support the industry? That's something that you need to look out for. Um, yeah, that's why I work in HR because I think that Vietnam has so much potential, but then it needs people to be feel that support that the system that grow. That's in terms of big company, right? And then we talk about maybe we talk about local Vietnamese companies first. Challenging for some certain local company because the country by itself grow faster than many companies, mom and pop shop in Vietnam. So a lot of them struggling with transition from the first generation to second generation. So like the founder, the parents, now they want to pass the baton to their kid, right? Challenging there, right? So mid-size company, local Vietnamese have that challenge. Um, the last one is mobile staff, like someone like myself. It's challenging as well, right? If you look at it, the cost of building a product in Vietnam actually not that bad, especially if you're in here on the ground. But you talk about a lot of management because you need to inspire them, but you also need to be manage them as well. Because part of it is a lot of them actually in Vietnam, like most of Asian the same way, study very good at math and engineer, but when it come down into teamwork, work globally, or certain standard, they need to be coached. Yeah. So yes,
So is Vietnam, as far as the company, is Vietnam considered like a third world country, a development company, or something else?
developing country.
Okay.
I'm not good at this, but I think the mid income of Vietnam starting increase. So this is another the thing that you need to watch out when you want to go to Vietnam as well. People go to Vietnam have an assumption that it's cheap to do thing here, right? But if you go to Vietnam and you just think, well, cheap to do business, then should not. I would not recommend because you're gonna get so many hidden costs. Because a good engineer in Vietnam still they pay USD, right? Because a lot of them actually outsourcing for company in US or in Europe. So they get used to the fact that they got paid in USD. And some of them even got discount. They understand the discount, the market is still fine, right? So so that's something that you need to watch out for when you enter this market. Yeah.
So the name of your company, does it mean anything, any significance, or is this a name?
Well, you can see in my shirt right now, I say smarter, right? It basically, well, because I always interested in people learning, right? So smart, people are smart enough, have to be smarter, right? And I have, and this is something interesting is that if I have a series of product that I want to combine this one with, right? Like learn smarter, train smarter, perform smarter, right? So anything you can do better. Smart is not enough nowadays. You have to be smarter.
And you took part in Google for Startups recently.
Correct.
Can you talk about that experience?
Very interesting. It's nothing like I thought. Because I got my master in technology commercialization, so I study a lot about entrepreneur and intrapreneur as well, like how you build product and stuff, and launch your idea to market. That's what I'm professionally trained, QT. But then go to the Google Star programs. I think they have something a bit different in a way.
And was that here in Ho Chi Minh City or
Ho Chi
back?
Minh City,
It was here, okay.
They actually have a push for the program in Vietnam as well, because they realize a lot of good engineer here, right? And a lot of, I think the last batch they focus a lot on AI related tech. So very different. But I think the thing that I like most about this whole program is, you from outside look into Google, you always like, wow, that company is so interesting, like technology company, right? But then I talked to one of the mentor in the programs. He's a vice president of operation over there. We talk a lot about people related. And the thing that I found interesting is that that stuck with me is actually about founder journey, right? It's nothing to do with technology. The thing that interested me actually about the people, about the founder. um, because most of staff fail, and I think you know this as well, is that actually the founding team are challenging. The team that you build from the early day can be, win or lose, and they have a whole section that Google actually talk about that. And they wrote a lot of few good books about us as well. So I think some that you can maybe check out, and if the audience interested, like Workroom, the Bonfire Moments, those are very good books. um, Maybe you can share with the audience later, but I feel like those actually give you the foundation of how a good fast growing tech company in the early day, what Google did, right? And the bonfire moment talked about how founder in the Google
Hey,
accelerator
scoot up
program.
just a little bit more.
Huh?
Scoot up just a little bit more.
The two book, right? The first one is the bonfire moments. So that book is basically the people from Google accelerator programs. They interview a lot of founder, and they basically have a process of how founding team should work together in the early day. Highly recommend it. It's a very interesting read. Um, so yeah, I mean, it changed my way of thinking. It changed the way I do building the teams. Yeah,
And how long is the program?
it's well, so they have like 1 week boot kind of accelerating, and then the program, I think 3 months or something. And
You have
then
to pay anything for it?
no,
They take equity or anything or?
no, that's
Okay.
the non-equity.
Okay.
But 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 the good thing about it is they actually help connect to the right people.
So would you recommend it to other startup founders?
Yeah, I
Okay.
recommend. I definitely recommend. I think it's just more about that if you see the good fit for you, because it requires your team to be focused as well. I see some people more benefit from other people. Uh, Part of it is, I think that it's more about the commitment of each founder and each teams. So yeah.
Now, do you have any co-founders or is it just you?
It's a long story, but yes, if you ask me last year, yes, I have a co-founder. I have 4 teams, but I think that a bit rough this year. Some of my co-founder, they kind of need to have more consistent income.
Yeah.
So they still be around, like talking. We still in a good relationship, but I think right now it's just me more driving this. But with that being said, because I'm kind of in the moment of pivot the company as well, is that we take us a few couple of years to market validate, so validate the technology and the market in Vietnam, but we in the next phase of the product actually try to scale it. And if we're gonna scale it, it's not gonna be just Vietnam. It's gonna be South Asian market, ASEAN market, and potentially can go back in US. to do that, you need the right team.
Yeah.
So I right now assemble the team that have more global experience.
So do you find that you make more progress as a solo founder or we have co-founders?
Well, I think that certain thing be solo faster. You make decision faster. And when you work at the team, when you have a founding team, you delegate and you trust other people and you let them live time to learn, right? Instead of you try to interfere too much. And sometimes it's not efficient, right? And I think that everyone in the founding team have a certain strength, right? But when you're in a startup, require you do a lot of things, and sometimes it's not for everyone.
Yeah,
So in my
definitely.
opinion, I feel like certain things I prefer to be maybe in the early day. I would say if you're a tech founder, if you know how to code, you need someone with good business mindset. But if you on the flip side, you more business, you need someone have a technical, or you learn yourself. And a good thing right now is that the AI revolution and everything around right now is that a business mindset type of founder can learn tech faster. It's not like used to be. It used to be you have to learn like programming, all this stuff, right? Even I learned a little bit in school, but I don't do a lot of programming myself. But I'm actually not bad at it.
So are you an ed tech company or HR tech company or something else?
If I can call myself, I would prefer call myself people tech. The reason why I say that, right? It because I think edtech traditionally you support a lot into the education